what's left is right. Chasing stars and holding you. I can't see the end, but we'll see it through. Times don't fly too high. Be sure to keep the ground in sight. Fly forever if you keep it tight. Love the world but keep the sky on your mind.
Hi, welcome to Silver Creek School Corporation's regular scheduled board meeting for July. Today is July 16th. We'll call this meeting to order at 6:33 p.m. This time, if we would please rise, Mr. Basham's going to lead us in our Pledge of Allegiance, followed by Dr. Ballmer's invocation.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Heavenly Father, we're just thankful that it's such a wonderful time to be called a dragon, and that our community and our school district is just filled with wonderful people, and all the amazing things that are just happening at SC. We're just thankful for all of it. Thank you so much for a supportive and caring school community. We appreciate everyone's commitment to our students' success and overall well-being. As we prepare for the start of school, we just ask for your blessing on a smooth and a safe start for another wonderful school year. Help us remember that our words and actions make a difference in the lives of those around us, and the work that we do forever changes lives. Please give us your wisdom as we do our best to continue to move this district forward, and we ask that you continue to send your blessings our way. In Jesus' name, amen.
All right, roll call. Mr. Basham.
Here.
Ms. Bright.
Here.
Ms. Franklin.
Here.
Mr. Groen.
Present.
And I'm also present. We have quorum. Ms. Bright, would you like to lead us in our mission statement?
Sure. So our mission statement is Silver Creek School Corporation will operate with integrity, providing a safe, welcoming, and inclusive culture for our Dragon family. Through our dedication to academic excellence, we empower everyone to achieve their highest potential. As stewards for our stakeholders and community, we commit to acting with transparency and accountability.
Thank you. Dr. Briggs, emergency additions and revisions to the agenda.
Yes, good evening, everyone. I have one addition to the agenda, and it will fall under number 7, consent agenda, under letter C, other, under request for approval. The recommendation is to add Roman numeral number 9, 2024-2025 SCSC Transportation Handbook. And that is it for revisions and additions to the agenda.
Thank you. Hearing Dr. Briggs's revisions to the agenda, do we have a motion to bring that to the floor?
So move.
Ms. Franklin makes the motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Groen seconds. Any questions regarding the? Hearing none, all of those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries 5-0. Next up, we have the approval of minutes from the June 19th regular school board meeting, which was in your board packet. Do we have a motion to bring that to the floor?
Also move.
I'll take Mr. Groen. I heard him first. Ms. Bright, would you like to second?
I'll second.
Ms. Bright seconds. Any questions? Hearing none, all of those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries 5-0. Next up, we have our recognition. We have Gibraltar here for Jim and Molly Day. No Chris, you leave him at home?
So, good evening, members of the board. Mr. Kingery had a college orientation day for his daughter. So I'm sure we all understand how important that was. But I'm here this evening with Molly Miner, and what you're going to see this evening is a reflection of quite a bit of discernment with your administrative team and Mr. Kingery and our team reviewing where we are at with the feasibility study options. I'd be remiss if I didn't say thank you very much for the opportunity to be here. A couple of you were very gracious thanking us for the drive here, but we really love what we do, and we love being in these school districts, which are the backbone of the state of Indiana. Just to review, we've had several things accomplished, and I mentioned to a couple of board members before the meeting started, if we were beginning the process, 90% the professional team, 10% the board hearing and receiving, I would say after tonight, we're probably going to be 70%, 60% the professional team continuing to build information, which will include in the next month some financial information, and 30 to 40% the board starting to absorb, discern, direct, express preferences as we continue to move forward over the next couple of months. And at any time, if there's information about what you have, what's in front of the district for preventative maintenance in the years ahead, the learning environment information we've collected from your staff, which has been very valuable for input. And for that matter, as we think about future forward thinking for your district, if you have any questions or any input, I just encourage you to continue to send those to Dr. Briggs and your leadership team so that we can hear it and then continue to be responsive. So in a couple of more months, where if we're beginning and continuing with the end in mind, in a couple of months, I think we'll start to see preferences for feasibility study option, financial information made available, and we'll start to see alignment of financial options in a direction that you could, as you would choose to proceed with. That's a good summary and recap of where we are at and what we've accomplished with this schedule for our agenda tonight. I would say that as we look at these options and start to discern them, it'd be terrific if we heard things like, this would be uninteresting to us. We really don't need to pursue that any further. You don't have to give reasons tonight. We don't have to have a lengthy conversation. I know you have a busy board agenda, but if you're thinking like, let's move away from this, maybe we move away from something else. If we could sort of set up, think of like goalposts. And then as we work the next couple months, we're going to kick it between the goalposts to wherever it needs to be. And I know you're going to have a financial 101 update here pretty soon. That's what I would call it. It's where we level up everybody's understanding of how bond finance works. For Gibraltar's side, from tonight moving forward, we're going to go back and look deeper into building by building impact. So the options we narrow down to and focus on, there might be no work done, there might be just a little bit of work done, or there might be extensive work done, but we want to get into that building by building in your district. So as we move forward, we can know what that looks like. If you remember, we've looked at all your buildings, all the schools. The campus, what someone said in one of our administrative huddle ups, everything relates to everything. Different way to look at it would be, as we look at these options, I believe that things come back to how does it impact this campus? Your campus is like the hub of the community. It's the hub of learning at the post-secondary level, or I'm sorry, at the secondary level. So that middle school, high school functionality, and then of course you're managing all the activities. It's like a small city within Sellersburg. You've got all these different athletic activities and buses coming and going and emergency vehicles that may or may, at some point need to be able to get around the campus. So I think that's very important. And with a very busy campus, if a feasibility study option can relieve some of that or not add to the concerns of the campus, meaning add another component that we have to manage, that might be a win. Like we leave the campus as is, or we actually can improve it based on one of the options chosen. So it's a way to look at things. So just a little bit of housekeeping. Did you all get a printout of this document? And then just by a show of hands, and no one's on the spot, we're not grading if you did your homework, but did you all, I'm trying to gauge the pace by which I go this evening. Did you all get a chance to kind of generally look at this and see it? Excellent. Okay, so I might go a little faster, but please interrupt me if you want me to stop and go back. So 4 options laid out and organized in front of you. Left to right, think of option 1 as, well, you just add on to every school based on your needs. Far right, think about adding yet another school in the inventory. So some observations about what you're looking at and clarity. So existing, when you see the word existing, that means like this is a building we already have. If you see the word expand, think of like more or less a building addition. If you see new, that obviously means like a new building, an all new school. And then you'll see there's things like existing elementary to intermediate school. So that would mean take the building, it's perfectly acceptable to transition it to a different grade level configuration, and with essentially what we think is no work or very, very little work, it could serve that new grade level function. So that's something else. You can see in the middle, there's a layer with 2 schools. So if we look at option 2 and option 3, and just to show you what the diagram's exhibiting, when students enter your district at the beginning grade level, there'll be 2 schools that they could enter. The option 3 says they all go to 1 school when they enter, but then when they go to the next grade levels up, they go to different schools, 2 different schools. It's also no coincidence that the layers align across, because you can see option 4 is adding another building transition to the district. So that's sort of a broad, let's call that a district-wide view. You see we named it a framework. I also would say this is a nice way to look at it from the learner's perspective, from the student perspective, from the parent that's watching their student go through the district perspective. There's lots of bricks and mortar things, and there's school board administration things, and how you fund buildings to operate. But if I'm a parent or I'm a student, this is what I'm experiencing as I go through the district. So we thought this was very helpful. And what I do when I look through this for your district and review it, I have this printed out, and then I go through the different ways to look at it. So I'm going to walk you through 3 more slides that think of these as viewpoints of how to look at these options. Some people say, well, I'm going to put on different eyeglasses, like the lenses by which you could consider the options. This is basically student capacity. What do the options do for us, student capacity? Right away, what I hear is option 1. It's essentially, yeah, it's making some improvement to capacity concerns, but the feeling is with growth, you're going to blow right past the option 1 capacity needs. You're going to be somewhere beyond that, if not already. And remember, the number on the left is like optimum, the number on the right is functional, and you're always working with a range, or I should say your administrative team and principals are always working with a capacity range, not a fixed finite. You can see the number of classrooms with how we jump. If it wasn't clear, this is just the K-8 model, the high school, because you're already well underway to finishing the high school project. This is just looking at K-8. Another viewpoint would be, well, if I were an educator and I was just wanting to know what kinds of things would I think about with these options and react to relative to educational considerations. We like to say best practices. I hear educators say that quite often. So you can see things like, and I won't read all these to you, but I'll just make some additional comments. When you think about special education, remember you're working on very frequent, if not daily, tracking and intervention, and that's very important. So building to building, that matters. The number of grade levels in a building matters when you're trying to work with special needs. This next one's really important, and a lot of people think of iRead, but what we know about data and what it tells us is you're learning to read up to about 3rd grade, some a little sooner, hopefully none much after 3rd grade, because after 3rd grade, you're reading to learn. And the data says if you can master that, the rest of your career, K-12 or 412, grade 412, goes so much better. So that's something to consider when you think about where the children are in different buildings. Student transitions, lots of people have comments about that. If I were, I can remember when I was young, my parents had a conversation about my oldest sister who in a growing school district had a different building like 7 times. So that's been around forever, that comment about transitions. More time to develop in a building can be important. Think about relationships and families in a building, getting them accustomed to a building at those early years. When you think about 3rd graders as leaders, remember that's also on the school bus, that's at lunch, that's a lot of different places where those younger children can be leaders as if they're older in the building. And then there's the staff and how the staff gets to know the children. We heard even in the community meetings and things, that's one of the things that makes being a Dragon special is the relationships that happen and how that works through the entire school district K to 12. Another way to look at it is just building on the first two ways we looked at it, and you can just see we added other categories and some checklists. So we could just pick any number of them. If you look sort of towards the bottom, optional number of building grade levels, that also helps manage field trips and connectivity, recesses, lunches. And then we could think about kindergarten and so many sections with the other options. So many sections of kindergarten. By sections, we mean like number of kindergarten classrooms in a building. And as that grows, most principals would say a best practice gets really hard when you have that many sections of the same grade level. It's a lot of little learners that stand about 30 inches tall that you're trying to keep track of, and remember, you're trying to advance them grade to grade. So that's the slides I wanted to show this evening. Mr. President, I don't know if the board could entertain some comments and we could get some input if you have any. I guess any questions as well. I didn't ask if anybody had any questions.
No, but while we're discussing, can you bring up the slide that shows the options?
Yes.
So I don't know about the rest of the board, but I think this is a way bigger conversation than probably what this meeting holds. And I even told Dr. Briggs when we walked in, I believe a work session is needed fairly immediately because, and when I say fairly immediately, within the next few weeks, not only do we have these, these options to look at, I think maybe there's another option or so, or two or whatever, that may not be on this list. Okay. In addition to that, before we go into our finance meeting about bonding capacities and whatnot, I think we as a board working with you, and again, this is just, one person's personal feeling of a 5-person board. There is a laundry list of wants, other needs that are in addition to the school building. I.e., we have a need for new transportation lot.
Okay.
Potential for field house. There's been numerous things that we've talked about as being wants and needs where we need to come together before we start the discussion of finances, to have you guys put some homework and pen and paper to numbers so we can adequately talk about that with Stiefel in August. When is that scheduled for? Or tentatively scheduled, I guess, for the 16th.
Well, we haven't scheduled it yet, but yeah, we would, whatever the next board meeting is, we could do
Right.
that. And whether or not we delay that one to have a meeting with just Gibraltar, or we put
Sure.
something in between, we can work that out.
But I could tell you, if I had all my questions answered, and probably everybody else is up here too, we'd be here for hours. So I really personally think that a in-person work session scheduled within the next 2 to 3 weeks would be absolutely a positive thing. Thoughts?
No, I'm encouraged.
One of the things that I've looked at, I've mentioned the last couple of years is pre-K. I know we're working on trying to set up some pre-K, but I think in the near future, we need to have our own pre-K, and that's 8 or 10 class pre-K. There's some corporations in the state that state's funding pre-K, and I'm really disappointed in the State House because of the last couple budget sessions, they've had enough money to put out there for everybody to have pre-K, but they wanted to look at different ways of cutting taxes for some groups. But education should still be the state's primary focus, and we all know that sooner you can get a child into a learning environment, we're all better off. And that's where I look at this the charge, and I just think there needs to be some sort of discussion on just not 3 or 4 classes we're talking about, but a wing of pre-K.
Yeah, that's one of the things that needs to be discussed as well. And that's, I know you guys have looked at what our, I'm gonna say a Band-Aid pre-K option is. Do we go ahead and look forward to what a permanent pre-K option would be down the road? So that's just kind of all encompassing of a lot of things I believe that need to be discussed.
Response to the pre-K, if you could annotate option 2 and 3 where it says new building, certainly there'd be an opportunity when you build a new building to vision, if you will, pre-K to the maximum amount you would prefer because you're building a new buildings. So you could kind of make a little mental note on your worksheet to say options 2 and 3, as we vetted that with the administrative team, they are the most easy, most accommodating for pre-K to the maximum that you could possibly envision. And then I also would say that I'm confident we've worked with your administrative team on a scalable pre-K with the Hensley buildings, meaning you could grow into that. I think you said 10. I don't know the exact number. I know it's more than 3, that you could start small and grow at the Hensley site for pre-K. So you do have that in your hip pocket, so to speak, if
Sure.
you choose to act on it. So that's pre-K. And then if I could circle back on the additional needs. So what we think of when we hear additional needs is you're thinking of really quite simply a shopping list. We've had, for example, conversations with your administrative team about additional indoor multipurpose spaces at the high school. What should we do with transportation and properties? So think of just making a list. And if you have anything at all you want to email to the administrative team, we'll be happy to make sure it stays on the list. And then we usually recommend after you see the financial capacity of the district, then we talk about the options. And then if there's still capacity, you go to the shopping list, so to speak, and say, which of these things do we want to add to the list based on our view of what's affordable? So
And my personal opinion is I think we need to reverse that. I need to find out the different costs, because it's not like we're working with a set pot full of money here, right? What Stifel's going to come in and tell us is our options going forward. And I think what we need to do is to be able to come up with here's the range of money we need based on the true needs of our corporation, and then be able to add the wants. We have way more needs than what's on this list.
well, I view so it's Stiefel in some ways sets up one of the goalposts, if you will. Like they'll set up a goalpost that says it is not reasonable to go above this dollar amount. And that's a board decision, not anybody else's decision. So that goalpost then helps us fine tune the list, to your point, of needs. And that's what Stiefel has. Actually, we had a good, called a working team meeting with Stiefel when we talked to them about, hey, we need to get everybody leveled up to ranges of impact of costs. And then while they're doing that, think of 2 parallel trains going down the track. So we're going to continue to work on this and develop budgets. And as we get a shopping list of things, hey, what would this cost? What would this cost? We add that to the list. We start putting numbers to it. Meanwhile, Stiefel is working with you to make sure that the understanding of impact of finance happens. And then, yes, probably more than one working session where you're trying to align and strategize how to get the most for your community.
Right.
So we won't be stopping.
No, I don't think we want you to stop. I think what it is just to make sure that we're all on the same parallel track you were talking about,
So
right?
think of it like this. We have a work session with you, you hear, we compare notes on all of our needs and potential wants. Then you guys have that, you can share with us what's on your list. Then we go into the meeting with Stiefel. we find out what our true capacity could be or where we would want it to be. And then we're going to have numerous, I mean, I think we've done this previously. There's probably numerous work sessions after the fact to get to where you're trimming things to get within budget.
Yeah, or
But-
alignment is what I call it. Yes, trimming alignment. We're saying the same
We
thing.
can call it, yeah, anything, whatever words we want to use is fine. But from my perspective, before we even go into a finance meeting, we need a work session on facilities. Does everybody agree with that?
I'd agree.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you work on setting that up?
Absolutely.
And Dr. Briggs, could you facilitate, like, because we've been so focused on K-8, I'm not fully aware of what's going on or desired at the campus.
Yep.
But we can add that. We won't put that on
Well,
this.
Yep, you and I'll get on the same page here almost immediately.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Susan, we have any community input tonight? Anybody in here want to make community input? All right. Dr. Ballmer, financial and operations update?
Yes, good evening. We'll begin with our monthly financial report. So starting with looking at our two main funds, our education and operation fund, beginning with the education fund, our beginning balance for budget year 2024 was $5,133,791.11. Our revenue through June, $12,237,816.07. Our expenditures through June, $11,693,208.31, with an ending balance in June of $5,678,398.87. We are 46.6% of our approved DLGF amount for budget year 2024. Max spent at this time, since we're halfway through the year, would be 50%. And again, just a reminder, we did build in additional appropriation there for staff needs here that we would need for this upcoming school year, and also pay increases for staff. Operations, beginning balance there for 2024, $3,538,444.73. Revenue through June, $4,178,224.22. Expenditures through June, $3,825,656.16, with an ending balance in our operation fund of $3,891,012.79. This is a unique month. Usually expenditures is exceeding revenue because you only get the main revenue sources for operation fund is in June and December. Property taxes, the education fund transfer kind of supports that fund throughout the transition of the other months. So it is nice to see that our property taxes did come in there in June. Percent spent in the operation fund, 44.3%. And again, max would be 50. You will see that shoot up because our buses did come in. So here in July, you'll see that expenditure on there for our bus replacement plan. Some additional updates with finance, operations, and construction. It's been a very busy summer for our finance team, especially with all the reporting. I want to give a shout out to Allison Vanover for a wonderful job on the Form 9. It's a big report that's due every 6 months. She's new to the treasurer's position, but has done a great job on getting the that turned around quickly. Next up will be the big annual finance report for our district. And overall, the finance team, there's been quite a bit of staff changes here over the year, and I really think we've seen a lot of positive changes. We're going to have everybody on the same financial management system for the first time in Silver Creek's history. There's been a lot of work on that with our building, so I'm just really proud of the finance team in general. On operations, definitely we'll get a huge shout out to the entire operation team. Prepping for a school year is tough, having those buildings ready. Even more challenged, of course, at the high school. But our operation team really works hard through the summer to make sure everything is ready to go. So well done to them. Also want to welcome Jordan Meese to the operation team, our new custodial manager at the high school. And we're also excited about Mr. Dole there, who's transitioned into our district site manager role. As mentioned, very neat to see our new activity bus and yellow bus on site with transportation. We've been waiting for those for quite a while, so it's good timing right here for the start of school, and they look amazing. Really cool with the activity bus with the color scheme on that. We already get some different colors. It looks neat. On technology, definitely give Mr. Smith some recognition. He put a ton of hours in applying for our school violence prevention program grant. It's been submitted. We're just waiting to hear if we will be awarded that grant. If we are, there's a lot of things we can do with safety and security of our buildings. So we're anxious to hear about that, but just thanks to Mr. Smith for all the hard work. We have ordered some new student Chromebooks this year in alignment with that replacement plan, and anticipate Chromebooks being deployed for grades 1, 5, 9, and 12 on the first week of school. And the technology team has put a lot of additional time and energy into all the temp spaces for the high school and the construction, those things you may not think about, but when you create these temporary spaces, you still need communications, you still need internet, you still need everything set up. So they've worked really diligently to make sure that happens. On construction, there's been a ton of work done in a very short window this summer. From the outside, it's easy to see if you drive by with the change, with the new panels going up on the high school, parking lots being redone, striping. We've seen major transformation inside as well. The new kitchen at the high school looks amazing and is ready to roll for the start of school. Furniture has also showed up for the cafeteria, so we're setting that up. Both gyms have undergone some renovations, including locker rooms, and we have new bleachers in both. I think everybody's going to be very impressed on how that all looks. So excited about that. And here, the Ox Gym is being set up for temporary classrooms for this year. So as we conclude phase 2 at the end of October, when we transition kids in the new building, barring that we do have a switchgear that shows up on time, then we'll roll into phase 3 where we take over the other 120,000 square foot of the building that has not been renovated yet. So that's what's next on the list after we get students in there. So we're excited about all that. And again, we really appreciate the construction team and all their efforts to do a wonderful job on everything that's happened this summer and making sure things are getting cleaned up and the school can start on time. And if you've had an opportunity to see the slideshow, the time lapse is really neat for June because it shows the transformation of that building. We're just really excited about the start of school. There's a lot of details being finalized regarding bus routes, car riders, and parking, and information will be coming soon, so be patient, but it is coming. And that's all for me.
Any questions for Dr. Palmer?
Thank you.
Thanks for all
All
of
right,
that.
Dr. Briggs, consent agenda.
Okay, under consent agenda number 7, we have letter A, finances, numbers 1 through 3. Under letter B, personnel, under certified appointments, we have letters A through E. Under number 2, resignations, we have letter A. We're going to skip number 3A because that's for informational purposes only, does not require a vote. On to consent agenda number 4, leaves, letter A. Number 5, positions, A through D. Number 2, classified appointments, letters A and B. Number 2, resignations, letters A through D. Number 3, positions, letters A and B. And under letter C, requests for approval, numbers 1 through 9. And that's it for consent agenda.
All right, we have a motion to bring the consent agenda to the floor.
I so move.
Ms. Bright makes a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Basham seconds. Any discussion? Hearing none, all of those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries 5-0. Next up, we have our discussion action items. Discussion action item B is one is the second reading for approval. We had these, the last board meeting was our first meeting, was the first reading. And all of those, and the simplicity of it should have been in your board packet. Do we have a motion to bring that to the floor?
So move.
Was that you, Ms. Franklin? Ms. Franklin makes the motion. Do we have a second?
A second.
Ms. Bright seconds. Any questions, discussion? Hearing none, all of those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries out. Next up, we have Brandon Hoffman, his appointment as the athletic director of Silver Creek High School, position control number 50003, which was effective on 7/8 of 2024 in approval. Do we have a motion to bring that to the floor?
I so move.
Ms. Franklin makes a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Basham seconds. Any questions or discussion?
I'm just asking, why did you want all that night work? Glad that you're gonna be in that spot.
We haven't voted yet, Joe.
It is.
And then, Dr. Briggs, would you mind just telling everybody know maybe potentially how many people applied, how many interviews we had, and kind of what the criteria was upon it?
Yeah, we had approximately 35 applicants. We interviewed 7. The committee, we had a couple head coaches. One of those head coaches was a teacher, a couple board members, myself, and Dr. Wellman. And yeah, had great interviews. And Coach Hoffman, he came prepared. He came with a plan, and yeah, we're looking forward to his leadership, and we think he's got a vision for the athletic department to continue moving us in a positive direction.
That's great. Thank you.
Any other questions? All right. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries 5-0. Coach Hoffman, you want to address the crowd, the audience?
Well, I definitely want to say thanks to the board, the administration team, Dr. Woman. Say this is a special opportunity for me is an understatement. I've been part of Silver Creek Athletics for a majority of my life as a player or coach the last 22 years. What makes Silver Creek a great place, and in the athletic department as well, is we have great people. We have great coaches, great players, student athletes. Our facilities are going to be second to none here shortly. And, you know, athletics is not the most important thing in a school, but in many ways, it can be the only or the first impression for a lot of people at school. You know, think about all the thousands of people that will come to our facilities, or the thousands that'll watch our student athletes perform, how our coaches conduct themselves, how people are treated. All that can be an impression to your school that nobody will forget. And it's my goal to make Silver Creek stand out and be first class for that. And make sure our student athletes have a great experience.
Perfect.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks, Brian.
All right. Ms. Myers? All right. Ms. Nunn? Good. Dr. Wellman? Jeez, it's going quick. You're going to run it, aren't you? Dr. Waters?
Yeah, you conform now. I just told him, I said, Dr. Waters gonna run it. Or make it perfect.
Perfect. Dr. Briggs?
Just thank everyone for all the work that's been done this summer. Hope everyone's had a safe and restful break, and looking forward to having admin teams already back in the buildings. We have our meeting this week, have our new teacher orientation, have our first teacher day coming on Tuesday, have our first student day coming a week from Thursday. So looking for a great start to the year.
Dr. Mulmer?
Just echo what Dr. Briggs said. I want to thank some people for all the work that's with the start of school. There's no way we can thank everybody. There's so many, but it's awesome that many people care about a smooth start and what the first impression of our students coming at the new year. And thanks to all our teachers for all the hard work and preparation that's already going in as well. Coach Hoffman, congratulations. Very excited about your vision. I have no doubt you're going to do some wonderful things here with our athletic department, and just hope everybody enjoys the rest of their summer.
Ms. Braid?
I just hope everybody enjoys the last few days of summer. And that's it.
Mr. Basham?
I just got a couple of things here. Read an article last week that a lot of people don't realize in Indiana now, 1 in 5 students are leaving their home district, intended school out of their home base. And hopefully when our high school is complete, our numbers will come back up where we have some students leaving, that there's no reason to leave our campus. Like Brandon said, our facilities are going to be second to none, and the academic improvements that we anticipate seeing at the high school, there won't be no reason for our students to look outside. And I took a class last Friday, and a gentleman from Minnesota, one of their high schools had 758 students in their graduating class. And they do something I thought was really neat, that they put up nation flags of their students. And they had 28 additional flags up besides the stars and stripes. That's something, Bob, maybe we would want to recognize, our students' heritage backgrounds. And same as Rachel said, we're back in school here next week, and let's hope we have another fantastic year.
Ms. Franklin?
I just want to say thank you to all of our administration, and then soon to be our teachers who are back in the building. I know you guys are here working like crazy to try to get everybody welcome back in on the first day. So thank you for all your hard work kind of going into the school year. Coach Hoffman, I'm really excited for you to take over and be our athletic director. One of the things that stood out, I think, is just how important you understand that athletics mean to our students and to our community. And so I'm really excited for you, and I think you're going to do a great job. That's all I have tonight.
Mr. Gurley?
Yes, thanks to the administration team for getting everybody ready, welcoming back the teachers. I'm excited that my kids have a place to go here in a few short weeks. It's been fun, but I know they really enjoy the learning here. And Coach Hoffman, I'm excited to see where you take us. End of the day, that's most of our kids have all enjoyed some part of athletics, and like you said, sometimes it's just the outreach that some kids have, and so we appreciate that and welcome all the new teachers and new staff to our Silver Creek School Corporation.
Absolutely. Welcome to everybody that's new that we approved tonight. Administration, operations, I mean, what you guys are enduring over a shorter period of time than normal because of not being able to access buildings and our operations staff having to go on a manic cleaning session so we could get a lot of work done this summer. It is truly appreciated. And our teachers, just go ahead and especially at the high school, sorry for the inconvenience, but just a little bit longer. But you know, everybody's done such a great job in mapping that out. And congratulations to Coach Hoffman and all of our new hires. So upcoming meetings, July 29th, we have an executive session at the administrative office. And we have 2 school board meetings, regular scheduled school board meetings in August, the 13th and the 27th. Both of them right here at Silver Creek Elementary School, the GPR at 6:30. This time, do we have a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
All right, we'll give that to Ms. Bright. Christie, you want a second? Ms. Franklin seconds. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Meeting adjourned at 7:15.
Now what's left is right. Chasing stars and holding you. I can't see the end, but we'll see it through. Flying, get on board. We're smiling on top of the world. Dangerous times, don't fly too high. Be sure to keep the ground in sight. Fly forever if you keep it tight. Love the world, but keep the sky on your mind.